It's Monday, October 15th in Texas, and you're listening to the Geek at Geek News Central, show number 808. And yeah, that's the 808 is like the Hawaii area code. So show 808, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. Get a free domain registration with a .com purchase using promo code UNLISTED2. Or get 20% off your total order using promo code GO20 off too. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Everyone got a great show lined up for you. Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right. I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Showtime.
Aloha and welcome to the Geek News Central podcast, coming to you as live as it can be from the heartland of Texas via the Geek News Central portable studio. And yep, everything's up and running. We're full blast here. Looks like we've got plenty of bandwidth, keeping fingers crossed. Recorders are running. That is the most important thing because I have screwed that up a few times. I've got these big notes, turn on recorders, knucklehead. Everyone, welcome to the show. And yes, a goofy host off to a great start here. I want to give a warm welcome to all of the Ohana and listeners from around the world. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the family. Of course, we want to encourage you, of course, to get over to geeknewscentral.com. And really, that's what it's all about. Get over to the website, check out all the great things that we're doing over there. And what that's really going to do is by getting, basically, when you go over to the website and you check it out, you'll be able to get subscribed to the show. And you see that orange box on the website for those of you who are actually viewing the show. And you'll find an RSS feed there, or you can subscribe via iTunes. And that's really the best way to get connected and stay hooked up with the show. You also can sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter contains everything that I'm going to cover today. And I'll, of course, have all the show notes at GNCshownotes.com. So let's see if I can actually get my coordination down with the portable studio tonight. But of course, if you're not subscribed via podcast, you can watch the show on the Tech Podcast channel on the Roku, Boxy, Samsung Smart TV, Google TV. Of course, you can always stay in touch with me on the show as well via Twitter at Geek News. That's a great way to do it. And of course, you can email me here, geeknews@gmail.com, or you can call our hotline at 619-342-7365. But yes, live here from the heartland of Texas, and actually I am in Waco, Texas today. And this is kind of like almost a reunion of from where this show originated. Down here doing a little consulting for a couple of days, so that should be great. And of course, we'll be bringing you more shows here from the heartland of Texas over the next 2 weeks. And again, thank you for subscribing or being part of the family. And of course, if you're watching live, thanks for hanging out with me here. We're going to talk about a lot of tech here over the next hour or so. And got a lot to cover. There's a lot of good news out there today for sure. So one thing's for sure has been interesting about traveling with this new portable studio. I think I've got it to the point where at least the airlines aren't busting the lid off the thing every time it moves. Between bungee straps and Velcro, it's amazing what you can do to keep stuff on. They still managed to not latch a latch, but at least they hooked the Velcro back up on this last trip. So the box is really no more worse from wear. But I've been rethinking my whole strategy with this thing, and we'll talk about more about that as time goes on, as I'm attempting to refine how this portable studio works. But hey, beyond that, we want to make sure that you take a few minutes and check out our special offer that we have with our good friends over at GoDaddy.com. We've got 2 deals this month that you can take advantage of, and really here's where basically the rubber hits the road. We're going to get you 20% off. Okay, 20% off on any purchase, and really all you got to do is go to GoDaddy.com and go through the whole process. Go through and pick up some domains, hosting accounts, whatever it is. And when you get to the checkout counter, use the promo code GO20 off too, and you're going to be able to save 20% off that order. Or you're just going to go and basically, if you want to get a private domain registration, in other words, you want to get a .com, but you don't want anyone to know who has registered it, all you got to do is shop for that .com, and when you get to the checkout counter, use the promo code unlisted2. You're going to get that free private domain or that free private registration with the .com purchase. And really, that's a bonus deal here. It really is. It allows you to really kind of start a site anonymously, and if you just want to blog, that's a great way to do that. So just make you aware of those two good deals that we've got available for you for GoDaddy. Of course, I've got lots of great codes. All you got to do is come over to geeknewscentral.com, and when you're there, click on the GoDaddy promo code link on the website, and it's going to take you to the GoDaddy page that has all of my promo codes, where you can save a lot of money by using one of 12 different codes. All of those codes have a variety of different saving percentages and amounts off. Basically, I tell people, go ahead and mess with the codes when you're getting to the checkout counter. See the one that saves you the most cash and use that one. And break your orders up. If you're going to buy an SSL certificate, buy it by itself. If you're going to buy a domain name, buy it by itself and use one of the domain promo codes. If you're going to buy a hosting account or another service, use one of my other promo codes. So that's the way to really maximize your savings at GoDaddy.com. And we want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here at Geek News Central. You can always click on one of the banners there on the website as well. That'll get you over there to save some money. So let's go ahead and, of course, I want to take a few minutes here. I didn't set that up. Let me hit the right button. There we go. Brings it back to me. Beautiful. Needs to be a little hot button on that ATEM software for sure to make that happen. So let's just talk a few minutes here. No green screen tonight. And what it is, I'm staying at a Hampton Inn, and there's not enough light in this room for me to do the green screen. I had it all set up and was trying, and I was just wouldn't sync up, and there was just really not enough light in this room to make it happen. And that's the challenge of when you're traveling and you always don't have the perfect light. And of course, it's just this room's kind of laid out kind of weird. So from that way, was just no way to do the green screen today. So you're going to have to look at the wall behind me, I guess, for tonight. So I'll try to keep it on the banners, or actually on the website as much as possible as we're going through stuff. Just let you guys know too is I talked about this a little bit on a previous show. I tell you, I finished probably what I would say, what I know is the biggest proposal that we have ever submitted to a vendor for an advertising deal. It was I guess I won't even use a proper word. It was ginormous. It was huge and a lot of work, and my team members came through and did a lot of work for me and helped me out and got the PowerPoint ready and everything. So we'll know shortly where that stands, and hopefully the vendor was pleased with our proposal and our pricing and everything else. Hey, just want to remind you that the podcast awards the nominations close tonight. So if you're watching this live right now, you really need to get over there. You've got just a few hours left before the nominations close. And really what that is going to do is you'll be done. We'll be done taking nominations for this year. So make sure you get over there and make your nominations now. I think a little less than 3 hours from now, the actual nomination window closes for our 8th annual event, and then we go into review mode. All of you that have volunteered on this show will start getting spreadsheets and a whole bunch of stuff tomorrow, so we want to thank all of our Geek News Central volunteers that are helping us out with the podcast awards. We look forward to being able to get that slate announced at the end of the month. I think I set the date for the 20th, basically the day after I get off travel. I think it's the 28th of October. We're going to make the announcement, then voting will open on 1 November. Of course, we want to remind everyone that New Media Expo is going to be hosting the awards ceremony. We're looking for a key sponsor for that event, and we're going to get the podcasters there. New Media's put together a great package that really incentivizes podcasters that have gotten nominated and those that make the slate to come to the show. So we hope that we'll have a great turnout, and we're going to start talking about the award ceremony in detail here in the coming week or two. Had a great Saturday morning tech show. If you were not watching, you'll definitely want to go and subscribe to Saturday Morning Tech. Basically, nearly 2 hours long. We had a great discussion with a couple of great guest hosts. So definitely get over there to Geek News Central and subscribe to Saturday Morning Tech as well, and you will not be disappointed with that show. It's a great one of our better Saturday morning tech shows. All right, what I want to do here real quick before we get into the content, hey, I want to welcome Citrix GoToMeeting back as a sponsor. And I tell you, they've been a sponsor here for the show on and off for a long time. And, I really do believe to be successful in business, you need to meet with your team on a regular basis. And that is something that is even more important with me, because you guys all know that I spend a lot of time on the road. My team is different locations than I am. So oftentimes we really have no way to meet. Either we pick up a telephone or we do a GoToMeeting session. And oftentimes what I will do during the day is just leave GoToMeeting open and running, and people will pop into the meeting and we'll have a discussion and they'll pop out, and it really works good. But whenever you need to, wherever you are, you can discuss plans, share ideas, and really bring them to life. But with clients and colleagues working from different offices and on the go, meeting face-to-face is, again, often not really possible. That is, unless you're using GoToMeeting with HD Faces, the powerful, simple way to meet and collaborate with your team online. I've been a GoToMeeting customer for years. I use their product religiously. It is a part of my tool set that I just absolutely cannot live without. And, GoToMeeting with HD Faces gives you the ability to share the same screen and see each other, and that's really important. And, when you meet face-to-face, you're often more likely to see eye to eye. And that's really a critical part. And it's easy to launch or join a meeting just from anywhere. You can attend with your iPad as well, or your Android device. And, this is how I like to do business effectively. So try GoToMeeting today, free for 30 days. Don't wait for this special offer. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click on the Try It Free button, and use the promo code podcast. Be sure to use the promo code podcast. So if I go over to GoToMeeting, and if I just load the site right now, and I'm going to do that, I'll switch the camera over here. If I go over to the website, it's real simple. You'll see the Try It Free button on the website. It's the orange Try It Free button. You click on that, and it's going to ask you for your name, first name, last name, and email address. It's got a little question mark there for a promo code. You click on that, and you enter the promo code podcast, and hit continue. Get that free 30-day trial. We want to thank the folks at GoToMeeting for being a sponsor here. And really, what it's all about with our sponsors is they care enough to be supporting the show and supporting other shows in the podcasting space that I hope that you'll really put some heavy consideration into using their product and service. They really do want you to be successful in business, but at the same time, I'm appreciative that they're coming in and supporting shows like mine and other shows that are in the new media space like this. So again, thanks to GoToMeeting for being a sponsor, and don't forget, use that promo code podcast. Again, GoToMeeting, meeting is believing. All right, let me go ahead here and we'll go ahead and switch gears, and I've gotten all my really things that I needed to talk about knocked out, and let's go ahead and get into the full tech content for the day. And I tell you, I found a lot of stuff. I found too much stuff tonight. But the thing I want to start off with is the announcement by Xbox, and the new face of entertainment at Microsoft has really grown at this point beyond video games. I think we all know that Microsoft has been headed this way for a long time. But here's the thing. The only thing that really bothers me about this new Xbox music announcement is if you look at the Xbox interface, they've got TV and movies and music, but no podcast. They are not putting podcast on the Xbox. So it looks to me like they transformed a large part of the Zune platform into the Xbox, but left podcasting behind. And, I hope that all of you will take a few minutes. And if you're an Xbox user and you're a podcast listener, I hope that you'll go out and just really blast Microsoft on this. Tweet that you're pissed off about it. And this goes beyond the Xbox. And, I asked all of you several weeks ago, or about a week ago, to take the time and comment on Windows 8 because they have no apps on Windows 8 as well for podcasting support. And it just looks to me like they've completely left it behind. They've left all of you out. They've basically shown you guys the hand. And it's disappointing. It really is. They got iHeartRadio on the doggone Xbox in the last FM. They got Vivo. How come they can't have podcasts? How come there can't be a link there to podcast media? What is the issue with Microsoft? Why are they leaving all of us behind? And it really is discouraging. The Xbox Music service is also going to launch on the Android and iOS. So, the question is, do you really want to support Microsoft in their initiative here when they're not coming in and basically allowing you to have access to all of your content on the devices that you use? It's a question you really need to ask, and one that we should really be strong about here on that. Now, another thing that they've done, the Xbox Music service that's launching, is not going to include any Windows Phone 7 adoption. They're not going to back this into older PCs. It's going to be a Windows 8 deal only. So I really don't understand their whole thought process behind this. Here's the deal. It's about this, the cash, because Microsoft can make money on music, they can make money on movies, but can they make money on podcasting? Well, they have chosen not to, and they've not chosen to make that an available media. It's all about the bottom line. The Xbox is a cash cow for Microsoft, and everything on that device has to make money. But they've left this media behind, unlike Apple, who has continued to provide a podcasting app. It's fully interfaced into iOS devices. You can consume and watch the media easily. And it really says a lot about the difference between Microsoft and Apple in supporting you as a consumer in your choice. Otherwise, it's just another music service, right? You got Pandora. You've got all these different music services already. Why do we need Xbox Music? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they want to cash in, and all these other companies are going to play second fiddle to Microsoft and their service. So I'm sure this doesn't win me any brownie points in the Microsoft community, but it really does irritate me. Here we are 8 years. We're a viable medium. We have thousands of high production shows, many of them crossing over into YouTube, getting dedicated spots, some that have even went full-blown on television. And yet, they've abandoned it. They've walked away from it. They've stuck their middle finger out at us and said, we're not going to support the space. So I hope that you'll tweet and scream and holler and be mad. And if you don't, it'll never happen. You're never going to get podcasting support on the Xbox or on Windows 8 in the way that it's native and integrated. And good luck someone trying to write an app and getting it into Xbox ecosystem. Good luck. Switching gears here, Dick Costello says that the second screen is the future of Twitter. Now, I hate to say it. When I'm watching TV or a movie, the last thing I want to do is tweet about it. I may tweet about a news event, but do you really think I want to tweet about some sort of live television programming? I guess some people do, but he says Twitter is complementary to media. They've continued to lock third-party developers out, and they've done a lot of things. And what they're trying to do is just try, now that they've gained the market share of folks, they just want to, at this point, to now drive their agenda. And I understand that. But, I still tweet. I tweeted that this show was getting ready to start. But I'm not going to tweet about some movie I'm watching. But I guess maybe some people do. Some people are willing to tweet and Facebook at the same time a drama or something is playing. To me, it's like that's my time to relax, and if I want to use my laptop on a second screen, I'm usually doing other things. But time will tell on how this all turns out. What do you guys think? Are you guys sitting on Twitter and you're the second? Is that the second screen? My definition of the second screen is the Roku, the Boxy, the Google TV. That's a second screen, not Twitter. Twitter is not a second. That's something I do on my computer, on my mobile device. And it's really not a primary function. It's really truly a secondary and, oh, by the way, type of function. Hey, the FBI has warned, and this is pretty big announcement. The FBI has warned that the Android phones are havens for malware. A division of the Federal Bureau of Investigation issued a warning to smartphone users about mobile malware and device safety, specifically regarding the Android operating system. A report published late last week, the Internet Crime Complaint Center revealed that it has made aware of various malware attacks, such as the Lose Phone, the FinFisher, that target Android smartphones. And each of these malware is different and can range from stealing a user's address book to completely taking over the infected device. The agency notes that Lose Phone and FinFisher are just two examples of active malware that are used by criminals, and users should take precautions protecting their devices. I saw this over on Yahoo News at news.yahoo.com. So if you want more information, you can go over there and Google that. But I'll have that link, of course, up in the show notes. Oh, it's being reported that iOS 6, there's a new tethered jailbreak, and it's official with a Cydia installation. This is pretty awesome. The iPhone dev team has really done a remarkable thing at outing a new version of Reds Now that opens up iOS 6 to an official version of the Cydia store. And you have to tether to do this. This is the only way you can do it. The process is now simpler as the latest version recognizes you already installed iOS 6 OS and installs only the necessary jailbreak files. And Cydia is now installed automatically as well. Now, specifically, this is for A4 packing devices. So this will work on a 3GS or Gen 4 iPod Touch device, not an actual iPhone 5 with the A5 processor. So just be aware of what's going on there, and it'll warn you if you can't upgrade, and it won't allow you to in the first place. All right, cord cutting is a big thing, and my wife and I are actually talking about cord cutting again before I left on this latest trip. And we're starting to look for more and more alternatives, but Simple TV is what is being touted a DVR for cord cutters. The folks over at GigaOM have reviewed this and have a full review on the Simple TV device, which costs about $150. And what it does is $150 and a subscription to its programming guide costs an additional $5 a month. And it's a single tuner DVR, meaning that you'll only be able to record one show at a time. The company plans to add the ability to support multiple Simple.TV devices within the same network in the future. And this is pretty cool. So if you want to learn more about over-the-air broadcasts and do-it-yourself DVRs, there's some links on this show note or in this blog post as well. But pretty good review on Simple TV for those of you that have cut the cord. Of course, the link will be up in the show notes at gnc.shownotes.com. Also, there was a good discussion today about the Photoshop, the photo editing features in Microsoft Word. So, many of you have probably bought in Photoshop or Photoshop Elements, but MakeUseOf.com has a great article showing that there's a lot of features in Word 2010 and above that really does some pretty remarkable things right in Word itself. So definitely worth a read here. It's kind of a little how-to instructional on how to edit stuff in Word without actually having to do it in a third-party application. And it does a lot more than you think it would. And if you've got Office 2010 already installed, really you don't have to have, for basic editing, you don't need another photo editor. All right, we've talked about the PayPal issue here a couple of times already, but the folks over at Lifehacker have produced a form letter that you can print out and send to PayPal to basically opt out of their new agreement. And it basically has a full list exactly what it should say and gives you the instructions on where to mail it and everything else. So, pretty cool there on what they've made available and how you can actually get opt out of this recent change to this terms of service that will go in effect December 1st if you do not respond, okay? So be aware of that, all right? All right, now, when I was younger, had a little bit of, as many people do when you're younger, you have a tendency to use the credit cards a little too liberally. And I had gotten myself deep in debt. A divorce didn't help the matters at all. And I found myself really struggling to really figure out how to get myself out of debt. And basically, my tactic was pretty simple. I picked the card with the highest interest rate, and I put as much money on that card as I possibly could. And then I made minimum payments on the other cards to make sure that they all stayed current so I wouldn't get whacked with a higher interest rate. And as soon as the card that had the highest interest rate was paid off, I rolled that payment into the next highest interest rate and so forth. And I negotiated heavily with the credit card companies at the time. This was, again, years ago when oftentimes credit cards had very high interest rates, and I would negotiate with the credit card companies to get a lower rate. I was basically doing balance payoffs where I'd get 0% on a card for like 18 months. It was basically playing the game, doing the shuffle to get rid of the debt. And it was very successful in getting the debt knocked out. And today where I'm debt free minus my home payment. So the folks over at Lifehacker have a new app. It's called, they're recommending an app called Ready for Zero. And really what we do is they basically help you in paying off your debt. And it basically makes suggestions on how much you should pay down the various parts of your debt each month without letting it go into a relapse. And this is really smart. It kind of calculates it for you and helps you save the most money, when to make the payment, and the whole 9 yards. So this is something that's pretty cool for those of you that may have incurred a little bit of credit card debt that you're trying to get rid of. This is a great way to look at this as a maybe thing that will help you optimize your budget. And having been down that road before and never wanting to be down that road again, I definitely say right out of budget. And one thing it really helped me and my wife as well in making sure that we were maintaining our expenses in check, and we do this to this day, is she has a credit card in her name. I have a credit card in my name. The bills come separately in each month, and we basically, it's a mileage card, so I claim the mileage on it, and I pay it off. We pay both the cards off each month in full. We don't carry a balance. So what we do is we basically, if you buy lunch, you swipe the card. If you buy anything, you use your credit card for everything. And then cash, if you take out any cash out of the ATM or out of the bank, you have to document. Each of us have to document line by line and where we spent the cash. And then at the end of the month, she looks at my bill, I look at hers. And then we have an open discussion about what each other spent. And I can absolutely guarantee you, if you do that each month, what will happen is you'll become very competitive in the amount of money that you're spending. So that trip to the Starbucks that you did 3 days a week, that ended up being basically $100 of your credit card bill, all of a sudden will disappear. You won't have that Starbucks because you will be in competition with your wife to lower the debts, lower the amount of money you're spending every month. And as long as you do that every month and have an open and non-aggressive discussion, and you basically you have to keep each other in check, and it's good, and it makes you very optimized in how you spend your money. At least for her and I, it worked out well, And we just make sure that everything that we charge, and if we charge something, if we go like to Costco and have to put something on the American Express, we know that is basically we're usually there together and it's a joint purchase, so it's not like it's a big deal, but it's something that's kind of fun to do, and I hope that you guys will try it, and if nothing else, you may have a big of an eye opener, because sometimes it's eye openers on my end, sometimes eye openers on her end, but it works out well because it keeps you in check. All right, there's an article on Geek News Central right now talking about the potential of Google TV being added, voice control being added to Google TV. Alan, one of our writers, picked up on an article that was on the nextweb.com website and talking about showing a video that had been posted, then quickly, taken down. It was basically showed some features using voice control. So I thought that was pretty slick, and we'll see if that comes to Google TV in the future. I think they would have to add a little better processor to the device to make that happen. Second article that's over at Geek News Central that's gotten a lot of tweet followers is Freedom Pop. And Freedom Pop is a new internet service provider business that's basically offering free internet service to a limited number of signups. It's 100% free. What they do, though, is once you hit a certain level, they do ask you to pay a per megabit price, but you get a certain amount each month free. Now, they haven't designated how much free traffic you get, but they do have a method to monetizing. But if you want to check it out, freedompop.com is the website. You definitely want to check that out. And I want to thank Alan for hooking this up with that article at Geek News Central. That was a really good one. Hey, again, if you have comments tonight about the show, you can email me here at geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, don't forget at Twitter at Geek News. And of course, make sure you get at the website from time to time at geeknewscentral.com. Well, boy, oh boy, 8 million of you watched the space jump. I was airborne from San Francisco actually I landed in Dallas, San Francisco to Dallas when the jump happened, and then 2 hours in the car driving down here to Waco. So Felix Baumgartner breaks the YouTube record as 8 million viewers watched his space jump. That's pretty awesome. And, they've got some pretty cool videos out, shows him basically stepping out and plunging. And the guys the writers at Geek News Central were doing a live dialogue via email while it was going on. And they said, man, I can't believe he just stepped out and jumped. There was no hesitation or anything. But there's been some helmet cam video that has been released, or basically someone was able to get, that showed a first couple of minutes of his free fall, and it's pretty dizzying. I don't know if he was doing it on purpose, but you can tell for a while he's on his back doing a flat spin, and there's several interesting moves that in this. I was actually a little surprised, but they say that he was able to hit Mach 1.24. And, of course, shattered the internet viewing records, which was incredible. And that's pretty awesome. So we'll have the video link up as well, the special video. And let me actually bring this up on the... you got the actual video link that's available on Geek News Central. The commentators in this particular set, I believe, are speaking Dutch. So they're not actually speaking English, but you don't really need to know the language in order to hear or actually see the incredible view this guy had as he jumped out of his capsule and was in free fall. I'm sure we're going to see many more videos, because I think he had like 20 cameras running on the entire event, so it should be huge. It really would. All right, those of you that are real geeky out there, the Raspberry Pi Model B has been released. It got a RAM boost of 512 megabits, but is keeping its $35 price tag. So this is pretty cool. You can overclock the Raspberry Pi as well, and some folks have even made it to run Atari 2600 games. So this is really cool. They've been able to do some cool stuff with this. Lots of do-it-yourself type projects are available. So don't forget about the Raspberry Pi. It's now available with 512 megabits of RAM. And again, kept the $35 price. All right, on Saturday Morning Tech, we talked about an issue about this troll, this creep, this nasty individual who was basically outed on Reddit. He's one of these type of weirdos that likes posting upskirt images and just really disgusting stuff. And I guess there's a war going on Reddit right now about this because other Reddit moderators that are moderating equally disgusting subchannels there are basically talking about banning any site or basically not allowing links to any site that has outed some moderator, someone that's in those chat rooms, or not in the chat room, but to basically posting this disgusting stuff up on Reddit. What really surprised me was the person that they outed. It was he works here in the state of Texas, works for a finance company. Apparently has a decent job, is married, and yet he admitted, or he said, that he was not a pedophile. But some of this threads that he's worked on in the past basically involve posting of underage type of material. So I really don't understand how individuals like this don't come underneath the arm of the FBI or someone like that is basically looking to. And if you got these weirdos out there posting this stuff, how come guys like this guy were allowed to post this kind of disgusting stuff on Reddit and still keep his job? Oh, he was fired from his job. Over the weekend, his employer found out and fired. Oh, that's news. Wow, that's big. I would, if he'd have been my employee, he'd have been gone. He'd have been fired as well. There would just been no way that I would have let any one of those kind of a disgusting individuals work within my company. It would not have happened. And so apparently this is on the network somewhere talking about this guy having been fired. So good. I'm glad he's been fired. That type of stuff, and hopefully some arrested. I just don't understand why these types of individuals don't come underneath the scrutiny of law enforcement. I'd love to hear your guys' comments on this. And some of the stuff that he was doing was of adults as well. He was moderating a forum called Creep Shots, and it was, pictures taken of women in compromising positions, targets of opportunity, that kind of stuff. And having been on the BBS side before the internet took off, we used to have trolls, but they were flamers, and they always looking for a fight. There were those types of individuals, but they never posted weird stuff. And we would not have tolerated it in the least. So, but I'll have this link up to this story, and if you want to read this, go through it. It's pretty disgusting, but I just don't understand how these kind of folks can remain not under arrest. I don't get it. In my personal opinion, this guy is the absolute worst of the worst, and very disgusting. In my opinion, it's just unfathomable, the type of stuff they've been posting up there. Now, love to hear your comments. geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, you can call the hotline as well at 619-342-7365. Hotline's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All right, lots of speculation out there. Next, moving on here to a more cleaner topic. There's some speculation out there. People are asking, why should I buy an iPad mini? And that was one of the many topics we talked about this past Saturday that I was kind of questioning. Why would you want to buy an iPad mini? And there has been some discussion and some indication that this device could come in at around $250. My expectation is it's going to be $399. I would expect that's the price. My thought also, too, on the iPad mini was kids now, I have a son that uses an iPod Touch. He loves it. He's addicted to it. And I'm sure that they game on it. And, of course, my kids, when I'm home, they grab my iPhone and they game on it. And, your kids do the same thing with your devices as well. But 7-inch tablets right now are in the price of $200 and $250. That's probably a pretty good price range for most of the Android voiced. So if Apple comes in at $250 or $300 top with a Retina display, does it make sense to do that? And also, does it make sense to buy this as a device for maybe one of the kids in the house? Use it for reading, for gaming. Is the price point at $299 or $399 going to be too high? I don't really think that Apple's going to come in at $250 to $300. I think personally it's going to be $399. We'll see. We'll see where the price is, but we'll just have to wait until next week to find out. What do you guys think the price is going to be? And would you buy it for yourself or for another person in your family? All right, if you live in Burlington, Washington, officials have notified hundreds of employees and residents their bank account information was compromised last week. Hackers broke into a city system and stole more than $400,000 from a city bank account at Bank of America. Among those impacted by the breach are employees participating in the Burlington's electronic payroll deposit program and utility customers enrolled in the city's auto pay program. So this is be careful here. Be aware that they're emptying bank accounts, and yours could be next if you live in Burlington, Washington. At some point, the banks are just going to have to stop transfers. I would think at some point you're going to have to go into a bank, show them your ID, sign your little signature card, and prove who you are to do a bank transfer. These electronic bank transfers that are happening online when bank accounts are being hacked is gotten pretty much out of control. So we'll see. We'll see where this leads. It just seems pretty incredible that they could transfer $400,000 out of the account overnight. It's not like they wrote themselves a check, right? They digitally transferred it from one account to the other. I'm sure in some offshore bank account with some exotic routing number that they immediately withdrew when they could come in and get a cashier's check or whatever. But we'll see where this leads as time goes on. What will an $8 billion check from SoftBank do for Sprint? Well, if $8 billion shows up in Sprint Nextel's bank account, they say that they may will use the capital infusion to finish out their network, their advanced network. They could use it to balance the spread balance sheet with Clearwire, maybe buying them. Lots of things being decided, but this sum equals about 18 months of capital spending by Sprint, which is basically, they're out right now building a new flexible infrastructure called Network Vision that can host a variety of technologies and frequency bands. And that build-out is key to Sprint's LTE network as well as enhancements to 3G, the phasing out of its aging IDN network as well. So it would buy them the rest of this rollout. It would give them enough cash to do that. So it'd be kind of interesting seeing what happens here. And I just don't fully understand the SoftBank motive for buying them. SoftBank, again, is a player in Japan. I think they're third or fourth in rank. So it is kind of an odd buy to me. But time will tell on where this goes. All right, if you have a solar panel on your house, be forewarned, your solar panel control system may be vulnerable to hacking. So I'll have a link up in the show notes from Ars Technica, linking you and talking about the specific controller models that are having issues and how they're being hacked and basically abused. So I'll have that link up for you to check out. If you have an iMac that you purchased from 2009 to 2011, hard drive replacement program is now covering those iMacs. So this replacement program for the 2011 iMac has again been expanded, covering even more machines than before. Their support page has been updated again. If you purchased an iMac as early as October 2009, Apple offer free replacement for hard drives to affected customers for 3 years after the first sale of the device or until April 12th, 2013, whichever is longer. So be aware here that when July of 2011, when Apple announced this, they basically had said that the 1 terabyte drives and iMac sold between May and July of that year could be subject to failure under certain conditions. So anyway, I'll have the link up in the show notes on that, so definitely check it out. And I don't know if they'll replace it if it hasn't failed or if it does fail. DMCA continues to be the crux of many missed takedowns. Web hosting company ServerBeach recently received a DMCA violation notice from Pearson. It's a well-known educational publishing company. The notice pertained to EduBlogs, which hosts 1.45 million education-related websites. And it basically focused on a single page from 2007 that contained a questionnaire copyrighted by Pearson. ServerBreach informed EduBlogs about the alleged violation. EduBlog says it quickly took down the linked content, but instead of calling the matter settled, ServerBreach took EduBlog server offline, temporarily shutting off all 1.45 million blogs over a single page DMCA takedown notice. So EduBlogs pays ServerBeach $7,000 each month. And founder and CEO of EduBlogs wrote that he was stunned at how quickly and proactively ServerBeach responded to Pearson's lawyers, as opposed to how they deal with one of their better customers. He says, we've been with them for years and years. He says, no, we're not WordPress.com, another one of their customers, but $75,000 a year has to count for something. Right? Wrong. They pulled them without instant. So I would imagine EduBlogs, based out of Australia, is looking for a new host. And part of the problem led to a time zone difference. These folks were in Australia and in bed when they sent out the notice. So it was around 3 a.m. in the U.S. when they finally responded, but yet ServerBlogs was not reachable. And so this is just incredible. And they still believe that this single article was done by under fair use. ServerBreach, though, has another story. They said that EduBlogs was in fact aware of the DMCA notice, and that they figured that they had that they were going to give them 24 hours to resolve, but it's evident that they didn't give them that much time. So, they sent a second notice on October 8th. So they said they got a couple of notices, but anyway, two sides of the story on this, but I'll have a link up in the show notes. You guys can read through yourself. So nice to see other hosting companies doing stupid things. All right, the crew of the International Space Station successfully berthed the Dragon cargo spacecraft to the station on Wednesday. The Dragon spacecraft launched Sunday night on the Falcon 9 from Cape Canaveral and arrived at 6:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, almost a half an hour ahead of schedule. They got it up close, and the grappling arm, grabbed on and basically pulled the spacecraft the rest of the way in. It's going to be on board for 18 days while they unload it, and then fill it full of trash, and also 760 kilograms of equipment, experiment results, and other, again, items from the space station. It's been announced that singer Sarah Brightman, and I don't know who that is, maybe it's someone I should know, but singer Sarah Brightman is going to be traveling to the International Space Station as a space tourist. She and Space Adventures announced on today that she will take a 10-day trip to the International Space Station at an unspecified date in the future, probably 2015. Those of you in LA got to see Endeavour arriving and being driven through Los Angeles, and it was quite the sight. People lined the streets and took pictures. It was all over the internet this weekend. So big deal for the Endeavour moving to the museum in LA. All right, let's talk about AT&T for a second here. AT&T, boy oh boy, they're sticking their necks out there. Leaked AT&T files show that planned anti-piracy measures are going to go into effect immediately after the Thanksgiving holiday. They're going to have all kinds of nastiness that they're going to send people that are infringing, that they think they're infringing, that they assume to be infringing, that they haven't been warned by another company that they're infringing. Yes, so they're going to take it upon their own lonesome self to send all kinds of dirty emails and requests and information for you. And upon the fifth notice, they're going to turn your name over to the company in which you're infringing content upon, and they're going to sue you into oblivion. So AT&T may even go to as far as blocking pages to sites like to sites like the Pirate Bay and so forth. And so anyway, AT&T's six-strike scheme is similar. And this is their quote. AT&T's six-strike scheme is similar to the one run by the French government. Okay, I'm sure that one's been real effective, right? We've talked about the six-strike thing in France. So anyway, so AT&T is going to do the copyright holders' bidding, and they're going to start emailing and blasting you. And apparently, all the other internet service providers are going to follow close behind. So Big Brother will be watching what you're doing on the internet. They will be reporting on you. And just be aware that this is coming. Six Strike is coming. It's being recorded by iSupply.com that consumers are aggressively migrating data to cloud data storage in the first half of 2012. Talks about a market increase, a 75% increase in people that are moving to the cloud. And I think we all know the cloud is important. It shouldn't be a sole place where things are at, but people are using it heavily. Of course, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, all are using cloud services. We use cloud services for some of our servers at GoDaddy. At Raw Voice, excuse me. And I tell you, it's been interesting. You know, there's lots of offerings out there from Dropbox, Mozy, Carbonite, SugarSync, and so forth. But lots of people are moving data to the cloud, and I don't think that comes as any surprise to all of you. Hey, a finding by someone basically said, hey, I took my iPod Touch outside and the screen didn't auto adjust. Well, it turns out that the new iPod does not have a auto brightness function. There's no sensor. There's no ambient light sensor on the device. So be sure to turn your brightness down on your iPod Touch before you go outside, or you may have to squint to actually get it to turn the brightness down by doing it manually. Well, it seems the FTC has got a hair up their butt, and they want to go after Google over some type of antitrust issue. So a Democratic Congress has played a leading role in the fight against SOPA. Earlier this year has taken up a new cause, shielding Google from the antitrust scrutiny in a strongly worded letter to the FTC. Chairman John Lebowitz, Representative, and Gerard Polis, Democrat of Colorado, praised Google's contribution to the nation's economy. He warned Lebowitz that if the FTC does choose to initiate antitrust against Google, Congress might react by curtailing its regulatory authority. They say at the time when the national economy continues to stagnate, it's not clear to me why the FTC should be focused on a product that consumers seem very happy with. Search engines, Paulus wrote. While Google is surely a big company and an important service in people's lives, my constituents also use a variety of competing services to pursue antitrust action in this hyper-competitive environment, he argued, defies all logic. So do you think they're right? Do you think the congressman's right? Should Google be gone after for antitrust issues? You know, I really don't have an opinion on this, believe it or not. I really hadn't thought about it too much. We all know that Google is in our lives in a very deep way. We know that there's alternative search. There's alternative email. You know, if someone made an alternative search that was compelling, I'd use it more. If someone had a compelling email service, I would use it. But, you know, really, there isn't a lot of great options available. Gmail is a pretty powerful email client. You know, and when I go in and I can't find an email in Thunderbird that I know is there, I go into Gmail, and 9 out of 10 times I'll find it on the first search. Especially if I'm looking for something specific. So pretty incredible here that the FTC seems to be wanting to go after them, but it's I guess for another retrospect, it's not that surprising. All right, next topic for tonight is the $56 million man. Yahoo has confirmed hiring of Google's DeCastro as COO. Yahoo has said in a regulatory filing that it had hired Google's top sales exec, $56 million. He's getting a pile of money here. He's getting $600,000 yearly base and an annual bonus that could double that figure. In addition, The internet giant will give him a $36 million in stock grants, including a one-time retention equity award of $18 million and an $18 million in the form of performance-based stock options. So he's also getting $1 million in make-whole cash for foregoing compensation from Google and $20 million in stock to replace his shares at the search engine. It will vest over 4 years. That is a huge check. It's a lot of money. So $56 million is the total compensation package this guy has gotten for jumping ship. No wonder in this picture he's smiling so big. I would be too with that type of a payday. Well, not surprising, Americans are paying more for LTE services. There's some research coming out of Berlin that says that the LTE network run by Verizon, which is the U.S. market leader, which went live in 2010, shortly after Sweden turned on the world's first LTE network in 2009. Through June, there was 27 million LTE subscribers in the world, about half of them in the United States. And get this. This is going to make you just want to get angry. According to this study, Verizon Wireless, which is a joint venture of Verizon and Vodafone, charges $7.50 for each gigabit of data downloaded over its LTE network. That is 3 times the European average of $2.50 and more than 10 times what consumers pay in Sweden, where a gigabit costs as little as 63 cents. So that's an interesting thing here. Look how many times we have great competition in the United States. We've got great regulatory control. So one thing you can say is you're saving money in the UK or in Europe alone on LTE services. Maybe not specifically UK, but definitely in Sweden, which is obviously not part of the UK. So anyway, pretty incredible where LTE is costing us a lot more money. Says Europe has the greatest number of operators, 38 of 88 operators worldwide. And how many operators do we have here in the United States? I think you can count them on like one hand. Oh, self-explanatory. All right, if you've been searching on Google lately, you will know that Google is now showing personal search results and Google Plus promotions to Gmail users. So this is a big one here. As you're searching and stuff, you're now finding your more interlaced search results. I really don't like them because if I'm searching on certain keywords, I don't want my personal influence or personal preferences to influence the result. So if you're getting results that are a little odd when you're searching Google, log out of Google, then make the same search again, and you'll get a whole new list of search results. It's just really evident when you're using it a lot. All right, Apple's also planning a new Mac Mini for launch alongside the smaller iPad in the event next week. So expect a refresh on that. So if you're thinking about picking up a Mini, hold your horses. Got to get a shot of water here. Analytic firm is fleshing out trolls spawned by Intellectual Ventures. Intellectual Ventures is a company that basically holds thousands of patents. They also have thousands of holding companies that are being used to sue a variety of different companies on patent infringement. So this is pretty cool. Some folks are building some search results that basically is an IP checkup. It's a project that basically could reframe the public's perception of IV's activity. So far, the company has really been going after individual companies one at a time, and they say by looking at your logs, you're going to be able to tell if you're targeted by these folks. And they've been able to kind of come up with a overall view of where that traffic's coming from over their 1,300 shell companies. So pretty cool stuff on what they have built. All right, if you are looking to bring internet to your vehicle, Hyundai is pimping its rides with faster Ethernet. So they're working on their vehicles to make the actual communications and infrastructure when the vehicle is faster. So kind of a cool move. And I really hadn't thought about all those devices in the car, how they talk to one another, but apparently a lot of it's done over a network. So they're making it so your car's Ethernet is faster. Not necessarily something you would install, but so definitely helping vehicles move data from one point to the other faster. All right, switching gears here. There's a great write-up on Gizmodo talking about Retina MacBook Pro, the worst laptop I've ever owned, and it goes through the horror story this guy had in getting dealing with a Retina-enabled MacBook Pro and some of the challenges he had with it and screen defects and so forth, and it compares it to an issue he had with a Dell computer. And I will say that I've had a Dell screen go bad once and had a brand new screen overnighted with a tech come in to install it. I don't think Apple would ever offer that type of service, but anyway, there's a pretty good write-up here on this guy's experience, and it really lays out the deltas in some of the customer support issues, and it should make you go, if this guy hadn't been a blogger, he'd have probably gotten screwed over the whole deal and been stuck with the screen he currently has. Yes, universities are pirating stuff, and they've came out with a top 50 list. The number one university in the country that is pirating stuff is Rutgers University. Isn't that a very private, prestigious college that people pay a lot of money to be at? New York University is number 2. University of Houston's 3. University of Southern California, Texas A&M, the George Washington University, University of Minnesota, State University of New York at Buffalo, University of Maryland, and Tennessee State University round out the top 10. Let's see, where did Michigan State fall? Did it get on the list? Don't think so. University of Hawaii was 49th. Interesting here, but anyway, yes, students are stealing content on the internet by using peer-to-peer services. So anyway, there goes your top 50 colleges that are doing stuff. Hey, if you want Windows 8, reserve your copy of Windows 8 Pro and pre-order Windows 8 today. So basically, you can reserve your package DVD of the upgrade to Windows 8 for $69. And these are going to be able to select U.S. retailers, of course. And so anyway, pretty good pricing. I think that's pretty decent. Yeah, $69 on the upgrade price. So there it is cheaper. If you want to wait until October 26th, you'll be able to upgrade online via Windows.com using the Windows 8 Upgrade Assistant for just $39.99, which is pretty awesome. So a couple of price points there. A decent price on the upgrade as compared to in the past. Still not cheaper than Apple's $20 or whatever they charge for 5 machines. That should not be any surprise to all of you that are listening to a lot of music. File sharers are buying 30% more music than non-peer-to-peer users. So it goes to proving that those are actually downloading music are also buying music. In news out of Sony, the LulzSec hacker pleads guilty to Sony. Basically he said AI did it. I guess let me see if he's going to win his actual. Under his plea agreement, this guy will pay restitution to his victims. He also faces a maximum 5-year prison sentence and a fine of at least $250,000. So I don't know what the restitution amount's going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be big. So this guy's probably going to do some time. Probably because he pleaded out, he's probably not going to do as much, but we'll see where it goes. A great article on CNET about Moore's Law, and I'll have a link up in the show notes for that. It talks about how important it is and where we're headed in the technology side and why Laws More is really the thing, the spark that keeps technology moving forward here. So I'll have that link up in the show notes for you to read. It's a really good one, so make sure you check that out. Oh, I will say this. The drought apparently was not as bad as what they thought, at least in the soybean crop. U.S. soybean futures fall to 3-month low on improved crop expectations. That's good. So it doesn't say anything about corn in there, but more soybeans than what they thought. And got some BitTorrent power tips from the makers of Views. So Views is probably the most complex and powerful of all BitTorrent clients. So if you're a user of that, they've dished out some power tips for that. And our final article of tonight talks about a guy that's been shooting pictures and removing all signs of life from it. And it's kind of an odd set of pictures if you look at it. It's kind of weird. You can look at the video and it's a little bizarre, what they've done there. But that wraps up the regular articles I've got for tonight's show. I do have a number of emails that have come in, And I got an email here from a couple emails from Richard. He says, "Hey Todd, have you used Firefox recently? Just wondering. I used to use it all the time, but once I moved from Windows to Mac, I haven't used it in a long time. Yeah, I'm still using Firefox on a regular basis. It's probably my default browser on my Windows machine as well as my Mac. Are you using Safari as your browser? Which one are you using?" He also sent me a link to NASA facing more budget cuts in 2013. Excuse me. That link up in the show notes. He also sent me an email on the solar panel control systems vulnerable to hacking, so I'll have that up for you as well. Tim sent me one about the SoftBank purchase, which we had talked about on the last show and as well as on this one. Thanks for that, Tim. Got an email from Jason. Let me look at the date on that email. Make sure I haven't covered. No, it didn't cover that already. Jason says, "The article you discussed about Capcom putting DLC directly on the game disc probably did hit a nerve. It's mostly a major marketing mistake. It seems all they accomplished was saving a bit of bandwidth by pre-caching the DLC on the extra space on the disc that they shipped, but it's costing them in perception that they're selling a stripped-down game for full price. What would be really interesting to find out is whether they are handling payment for this pseudo DLC themselves, thus creating a loophole where they can get around whatever fee they probably have to pay Xbox Live and PlayStation Network for hosting and selling DLC the traditional way." Jason out of Woodlands, Texas. Thanks, Jason, for that. Another James sent an email. He says that there is a deep-rooted issue with games as of late. In a lot of cases, games feel incomplete because they cut money from the games for DLC. It's gotten so bad that when they sell a season pass, will let you pay an initial sum of money that allows you to take 20 to 40% off DLC, which is essentially pre-ordering it. It's not a very good model in a lot of cases. I'm got an email from Tim saying, "Hey, scientists and astronomers think they found a planet made up of 1/3 diamond. I'm still looking for a moon made of cheese, though." Thanks, Tim, for that. I think that's it. That's all I got for tonight's show. Hey, as always, of course, apologize on the lighting here in the room. Sometimes you have no choice when you're on travel. But if you want to send a comment, you can tweet me at Geek News. Email account is geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, our hotline is 619-342-7365. It's been my pleasure to bring you the show tonight. If you were on chat and I missed you, I apologize. Just don't have enough screen real estate to watch the chat. But thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the show. And if you're not watching, consider. Also, thanks for listening in for the tens of thousands of people that are listening to Geek News Central right now. We want to thank you for being part of the Ohana here. And it's been my pleasure to bring the show live from the heartland of Texas. Until next time, we'll see you. Aloha. Bye-bye.